A luxury cruise ship cruising peacefully through the turquoise sea, passengers sipping cocktails and having the time of their lives. Suddenly, the roar of an engine breaks through the peace. A speedboat, filled with armed men straight out of Pirates of the Caribbean, cuts through the water toward the ship. "Is this part of the tour?" one guest asks, squinting at the hurtling boat. Too late. Pirates board quickly, most definitely not here for the buffet. In an instant, the gentle cruise is turned into an explicit hostage situation. No treasure, no rum, just chaos. And somewhere, a deckhand wonders if he left his sunscreen on the dock. With grace, the luxury cruise sails through the sea, the sun setting in vibrant colors on the horizon, painting a perfect evening. Passengers lie around the decks, sipping drinks and laughing, oblivious to what is heading towards them. Live music plays as the guests sit and enjoy the show put forward by the talented performers. And just then, a low, steady sound of engines begins to cut through the music. A few heads turn, but most don't notice. Yet, a jagged outline emerges from the water. A speedboat, heavily armed, headed right for the ship. The first panic wave shoots across the deck as the passengers begin to point, voices rising from hushed curiosity to actual fear. As the speedboat draws closer, its edge lined with armed men, it becomes quickly apparent that this is no joke. The crew on deck knows right away: pirates. And they're coming in dangerously close and fast-moving, well out of range of Coast Guard support and far from any immediate help. But these aren't the romanticized pirates of yore with eye patches, a wooden leg, and some ancient sword. These are modern pirates, heavily armed, extremely tactical, and brazen enough to attack a fully staffed cruise ship. In ancient times, pirates were often sailors who turned to raiding wooden ships with simple cannons, muskets, and cutlasses. The victims hardly stood a chance in most pirate raids, including hand-to-hand fighting. The usual targets were merchant ships with cargo like rum, tobacco, or spices. Today's pirates are an altogether different breed of terror. Instead of wooden ships, they come with high-speed boats, driven by powerful motors, armed with automatic guns, GPS, and radios. All the modern equipment needed to carry out their task. They come prepared, knowing what security measures are waiting for them. They don't attack for the fun of it. They are after cash, jewelry, electronics, and the rich passengers themselves, who could be held for ransom. It begs the question, why would pirates put themselves in that position of attacking a large, heavily guarded cruise ship? What do they stand to gain? This isn't some rickety cargo vessel. This is a huge vehicle on water, with trained security and heavy-duty defenses. The truth is that these cruise ships are treasure troves on water. When most people think of cruises, they think of the luxurious benefits: spas, casinos, fine dining. While this is all true, these vessels carry much more valuable cargo in the form of millions in cash, jewelry, high-end electronics, and, of course, the rich and famous passengers themselves, which can command a sizable ransom. But that is not all in terms of value. To pirates, this is a gamble on high risks with high rewards. In open waters, especially far from any quick assistance, one successful heist may pay off in a fortune. They are gambling on the fact that once close enough, the chaos and fear they create might well suffice to overpower even well-trained crew members. Some pirates put on the cloak of modern-day Robin Hoods, as their violent actions are clothed in claims of justice, where they sometimes oppose economic inequality, exploitation, or greed on the part of the wealthy. As in the folklore of Robin Hood, they present themselves as an individualistic rebel, taking from the rich for the oppressed. They do this while presenting themselves as having the support of the people and trying to justify their actions, most especially in areas that have been portrayed to have economic disparity or historical grievances. They attack luxury cruise liners, oil tankers, and cargo vessels that, to them, represent the ultimate in corporate greed. They attempt to prove that their character is anti-establishment, to confuse the line between crime and activism. Others even broadcast their attacks as if they were fighting a greater social or political fight. That Robin Hood character does, however, cover up much criminal intent since their motivation stays with personal gain. Piracy in cruise ships may seem like something out of an action movie, but it is quite real and has sent jitters across the industry a few times in the past. Indeed, there have been several incidents where pirates attacked luxury cruise ships, jeopardizing the lives of passengers and crew alike. In 2005, the ultra-luxury cruise liner Seabourn Spirit was attacked by pirates while navigating off in arguably one of the most notorious piracy hotspots in the world, the coast of Somalia. The attacking pirates showed up with automatic weapons and, in fast-moving speedboats, attempted to get aboard. But the crew was prepared. Fortunately, they were unable to obtain a foothold on the vessel for any length of time. Fast forward to 2012, and the MSC Rhapsody had a close call off the coast of West Africa. Pirates attempted to board the ship, but again, quick as anything, the crew set off countermeasures. The pirates quickly knew their efforts were futile as the water cannons pushed them back and eventually retreated. So while these incidents are not very common, it would not be fair to see that modern-day piracy is a myth. It takes a range of high-tech and strategic measures to keep would-be attackers at bay to prevent an attack by pirates before it can even get underway. From the moment a ship leaves port, it's not just the crew keeping an eye out. There are sophisticated surveillance systems on board, radar and satellite monitoring, constantly scanning the horizon for any suspect vessels. It can immediately alert authorities or activate countermeasures against an approaching pirate boat. Put all these together, and one gets a multi-layered defense that should, by the time pirates do get near, have them already pushed back, disabled, or disoriented. The goal is to prevent an attack from happening in the first place, no matter what it takes. With pirates in sight, the cruise crew is ready to jump into action. When the pirates finally close in, the crew deploys arguably the most specialized of defenses: waterborne security teams. Specifically composed of armed professionals trained in anti-piracy techniques, this unit is positioned on high-speed vessels to take immediate action. Equipped with machine guns and communication equipment, these boats race to cut through the water toward the pirate's speedboat. The waterborne team is the silent defender of the ship, patrolling in waters around her and waiting for this particular moment. Equipped with speedboats, firearms, and advanced communication equipment, they may quickly address any attackers and position themselves in between the pirates and the targeted vessel. They assure a certain amount of deterrence, that is, a signal to any would-be attackers that the vessel is ready for action and rapid tactical response in case of an attempt to board. The passengers are immediately taken to their rooms as alarms sound across the deck, with immediate safety procedures coming into effect. All the doors are locked by crew members, and any weak entry points are barricaded while passengers are moved towards safe zones of the ship. These are areas specifically constructed and armored, so that in the case of a breach, there will be protection. Everyone is on high alert as the crew efficiently locks everything down, and all passengers are counted. The coordination of this maneuver is essential to maintaining safety throughout the high-stress event. Then, the ship's next line of defense is turned on, a series of floodlights that are installed along the perimeter of the ship. These are termed anti-piracy floodlights. They send out blindingly high-intensity rays with the aim of completely disorienting the attacking team at night, preventing them from seeing anything properly and accurately. With the blinding glare of the approaching boat, passengers cling to the hope that such defenses will keep the pirates at bay. On the lowest deck of the ship is an electric fence. This is a non-lethal high-voltage barrier. The fence emits from its edges a soft blue glow. This is not just for show. This is a solid, debilitating shock for anyone who attempts to climb aboard. The system recognizes contact and delivers just enough voltage to repel intruders without causing permanent harm. With these measures in place, a lingering question can be heard in the passengers' whispers. Will these measures be enough to stop the pirates? Yet these pirates are prepared, moving forward, disregarding every ploy the crew could subject them to. By a foot, with every moment to the foredeck, the separation between speedboat and ship lessens. The passengers are looking out the ship's window with growing unease, noticing that with each passing minute, The pirates definitely want to board. While the pirates press on unopposed, everyone aboard is left in a state of doubt as to the strength of these defenses, whether the next line of tactics will hold, or if the attackers are simply too relentless to stop. The pirates are now in reach of the ship, holding onto ropes and scaling with incredibly terrifying precision along the side of the ship. From inside, passengers and crew can only watch in utter helplessness, knowing full well that once the pirates manage to board, there may not be a way to stop them. Every breath on the inside of the ship feels fraught with tension as crew members urgently radio each other, exchanging fast instructions. "Prepare for close contact defense," crackles a voice through the radio, strained with urgency. The passengers grow increasingly scared inside. Clanging echoes from within. Grappling hooks click onto the edge of the deck, and the thudding of boots of pirates hits the metal as they start to climb. Defenses may slow down this bunch, but the attackers are resolute and ready for whatever comes their way from the crew. An important question here is, how do cruise ships handle this kind of close contact threat without resorting to lethal force? A hope for the future seems to be emerging as new technology is being developed that might bring revolutionary changes in close contact defense. Otherwise known as the active denial system, this device sends out a focused, incredibly hot wave that creates a burning sensation on the skin of those within range. Completely non-lethal, it is intended to send attackers to their haunches harm-free. There have also been talks about arming ships with automated countermeasures that could respond without any intervention by the crew, such as automated drones or robotic systems capable of rapid deployment in case of an attack. Not all of these technologies may be ready, but they are likely to form part of the future of maritime security. These systems, as they mature, will further enhance the ship's defense capabilities and bring piracy in check. However, this is only a possibility in the future. Right now, the crew has to make do with the present defenses. Today, though, they will have to rely on just sheer will and the tools at hand to ward off everybody aboard. The stakes are higher than they ever were, and the whole ship holds its breath as it knows the fate of it is going to be decided in the next few moments. The pirates are now working their way through every form of defense the crew has thrown their way. Grappling hooks are fastened alongside, and ropes hang down from the side of the ship. One by one, the pirates start their final climb. Inside, passengers are holding their breath while watching the crew prepare the last line of defense. If this fails, the pirates will be on board. The pirates are closing in ominously, and the crew of the ship is not sitting with their hands tied. The ship deploys its electronic jammers in one of those thin lines of defense that make all the difference in this desperate game. As for the nature of these jammers, it is quite elementary. First and foremost, it acts to distort the communications equipment of the pirates, garbling their radios, GPS signals, and other instruments used for navigation. In one stroke, the attackers go blind and deaf. They cannot even communicate effectively with one another, let alone navigate correctly. It's like pulling the plug on their whole operation. Now they have to scramble for a solution. The pirates are in disarray now, having been deprived of their radios with which to call for backup or chart a course. Their intricately woven attack is starting to unravel as the ship's electronic jamming has created a digital fog. At this moment, the crew has the advantage and is working through precious minutes to activate other defenses and get ready for Phase 2 of this desperate standoff. The crew turns on the LRAD, long-range acoustic device, once more, emitting one deafening, high-frequency sound wave. It is a sonic blast that reaches the incoming pirates, loading almost unbearable pressure upon the eardrums. A few of the attackers stumble, clutching their heads in agony, while others forge ahead, determined to get into the ship. LRADs are perhaps the most intense defense mechanism, based on sound or ultrasonic waves, which can help deter potential threats at a distance by emitting high-frequency sound waves. It projects sound over long distances and is being deployed by military vessels, law enforcement agencies, and commercial vessels as some sort of crowd control device or to deter unwanted boarding attempts. This is because the LRAD is capable of causing extreme discomfort or even physical pain to anybody within its area of impact. and thus assures effectiveness as a non-lethal means for crowd control or repelling an attack. Capable of producing such an overwhelming and disorienting sonic barrage, it becomes the most important tool in maritime security in situations of piracy where normal deterrence will simply not work. As an additional defense, the high-pressure water cannons are also let loose at full force. These jets, 1,200+ gallons per minute, easily blast a man backward into the sea. The water crashes down with the power of thunder, creating whitecaps that splash up and over the boat. The pirates fight to hold on, their fingers slipping as the water buffets them. For a brief moment, it looks like the cannons might finally deter them. High-pressure water cannons are excellent devices for maritime defense by churning out a powerful jet of water to drive away, or at least discourage, any attacker. Such cannons would be able to shoot several thousands of gallons of water per minute at pressures strong enough to knock down or disable smaller boats. Very effective indeed in discouraging piracy or boarding attempts. This force can make the attackers lose their approach and be out of balance, even destroying their vessels. Very often, such cannons are used in combination with other measures of defense. High-pressure water cannons offer non-lethal protection for big ships from all sorts of threats by non-violent confrontation. Another defense of the ship against pirates, which is probably very important but is often neglected, is crew training. Crew training is essential in preparing for piracy threats at sea. From simulated crisis drills to handling anti-piracy technology, crew members undergo intensive instruction in responding to high-stress situations. They practice securing the ship, guiding passengers to safety, and managing hostage situations. Coordination between departments, security, bridge, and hospitality is essential to ensure a swift, organized response. Additionally, the crew is trained to operate advanced tools like LRADs and water cannons, communicate effectively during emergencies, and work closely with naval forces when needed. This rigorous training ensures that the crew can maintain control and protect passengers in the event of an attack. The crew prepares one of the last defenses it has: anti-pirate nets and barriers protruding from both sides of the ship. These aren't your average nets. We're talking thick, heavy-duty mesh designed to entangle anybody who dares to scale up the hull. It's like a giant floating spider web, only much more dangerous for any person to be on the wrong side of it. These nets make it nearly impossible to get a solid grip on anything. Every step of the pirate climbing up the hull might just result in them getting caught in the tangled mesh, which gives time for the crew to respond. Some cruise ships are fitted with tear gas dispensers or other chemical agents, the last resort action when pirates reach beyond a certain threshold proximity to the vessel. These systems are constructed to create immediate discomfort and confusion, a cloud of tear gas or chemicals that disrupt the attacker's vision, breathing, and coordination. The gas, once released into the air, would weaken pirates long enough for crew response, whether retreating or deploying other defense mechanisms. While these chemical agents can be considered non-lethal, their effect in bringing an attack to a standstill is such that it cannot be overstated. The pirates are getting disoriented and cannot gather their wits together. They are forced to retreat or at best halt their attacks while the gas dissipates. This buys valuable time for the ship crew to turn on other defenses or make that call to the emergency response units. But let's get one thing straight. This is a very controversial measure. Tear gas and chemicals can be potentially harmful, both to the pirates and to the environment. Hence, deployment is done only in situations that are most extreme. They become the last resort in the most desperate hours when everything else has been tried and the threat of boarding is present. During a highly dangerous pirate attack, tear gas can make all the difference between an attempted boarding and a successful defense. While its ethics and safety are still debated, one thing is certain: that it buys precious moments in the fight for control of the ship. This is the crew's last line of defense. If this fails, the pirates will be on board, says a voice over the ship's intercom. It raises tension for all who can hear. Every eye is focused on the scene outside, and a thick silence pervades the airspace as the outcome hangs in the balance. With one last desperate try, the pirates realize they are outmatched. Waterborne security teams have successfully encircled their boat, and the sound waves from the LRAD continue to disrupt their advance. High-pressure water cannons batter them unrelentingly, pushing their boat courseward. There is no place for the pirates to go. When the speedboat sputters along, unable to maintain an effective attack, the pirates finally decide it's time to cut their losses. They make one last defeated gesture and retreat, running away into the horizon. "It's over," a voice whispers over the intercom. On board, passengers feel that a wave of relief spreads among them as, finally, they can be sure that their lives have been saved. The ship's defenses have been held, and the pirates are no longer a threat. As the tension finally clears, passengers come out of their rooms, their faces framed by a mixture of disbelief and thankfulness. The crew members walk up and down the aisles, smiling reassuringly. They too know how close they are to disaster. Quick thinking by the crew and the advanced technologies at hand were the reasons behind repelling the attack. These state-of-the-art systems on board, the waterborne security teams, and high-tech monitoring systems gave them an edge to ward off what could have escalated into something worse. The technological, strategic, and training combination worked well in proving that even in facing some of the most dangerous maritime threats, there is always hope. It was the preparedness of the crew from LRADs down to the waterborne security teams which shifted the tide and kept everyone safe. Even with the sophisticated defenses that have been installed on the modern cruise ship, piracy remains a serious and evolving menace. New technologies and strategies and sophisticated surveillance systems, LRADs, water cannons, and anti-piracy security teams continue surely to help bolster security. It is unsure if they will remain deterrents over the long run. The stakes for cruise ships are going higher as piracy develops to more sophisticated systems using such means as better communication, higher armament, and speedboats designed for fast and silent attacks. The release of piracy in new regions, along with an increased rate of prominent attacks, confirms that the problem is still far from being resolved. As piracy continues to evolve, how much longer can cruise ships rely on these non-lethal defenses alone? Will we see stronger, more advanced measures in the years to come? We want to hear from you. Do you think cruise ships should stick with these non-lethal defenses, or is it time to consider stronger, more aggressive measures? What should be the balance between safety and ethics in protecting the open seas? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We can't wait to discuss it with you.